Okay, I've washed thoroughly. I've washed the new fry pan cooker thingy, and I'm going to put. Now I don't know how well angled this thingy is, but I'm going to put some oil, and I cook with olive oil, not that much. Now, I had a little conversation the other day with someone about this, how my mother and the people in India, they use a lot of oil. Originally, it would have been ghee, which is clarified butter, but either ghee or oil, but they put a lot. And my mother always, when I would cook, she would go, you need to put more because it's got to look good. If it's not swimming, if it doesn't have oil on the top of it, if it's not looking greasy, then it's not considered. And I explained to my friend that my theory and the explanation for this is that for Indians it's a sign of wealth because oil, ghee was expensive. And if you can afford, butter, ghee, oil, means that you're well off. If you can't, it means that you're really poor. You better be really stingy with your oil. So the more oil you have in the food, the higher your status. So, I don't, I usually do a lot less than most people. But with this thing, with the impossible meat that we have here, it doesn't have its own fat like ground beef would. So I find that I need to put a little bit more just so that it cooks properly. I started with this much olive oil, and then what I'll do is I do some shortcuts, and I don't know how to actually pause this thing. I stop. I'll have to do it a few times, but this is the first, time I've ever taped cooking. But this is one of my shortcuts. What I do is, and learn from my mother. This is what my mother does. You can use, and I do have fresh ginger here, and I'm going to put some, and you can use fresh garlic as well. But the shortcut is these, minced ones. Now, you get a big container of this in the Indian stores for like $5, like 4 times the size. But this was in Sobeys, they didn't have the big one. This was like $3.50, or $4. It was $3.50, I think. So it was kind of expensive. Now, because I really don't know if you can see what I'm doing over here because I'm not getting a view on that thingy. There's got to be a better way of doing it, but I will figure this out. This is my very first cooking show. Danny Professor Cooks, And so that was ginger. No, that was garlic. So this is ginger. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put. So I put about half a teaspoon, a spoon. Now it's to taste. I put about it. Yeah, about that much. Let's say a teaspoon of each. And I might add a little bit. But don't forget, I'm also putting fresh ginger. And I may put a little powder as well. If you put powder, you really don't need to put, powder is an even shorter cut than this. But, I do this, and I also do a bit of powder, and I do some fresh, and I put everything together. So, that's cooking. Now, I'm going to take another big shortcut, and this is one that I have just recently learned, and I'm hoping that my mother will see this and not be horrified, and my mother liked shortcuts where possible, but, it was actually my mother who taught me how to cook. But you know what I'm doing? I'm taking frozen onions. They come in this thingy, and, I'm just putting them into the colander so I can wash them. And it saves, it saves because my sous chefs happen to be cats and they can't do much of the preparation. I do my own shortcuts, So if I was doing real onions, I would have put 1.5. Now in this thing, I'm putting maybe half the packet or so, yeah, about that much, And I'm going to wash them. I'm going to rinse them. See there, and I'm going to rinse them, even though they come pre-whatevered, you know, in the factory. I think they wash them, you know, whatever. But I'm going to rinse them, and then I'm going to dump them in. Now the good thing is we have a lid for this. Usually we do. Usually but I have a good lid. So we do that, and we stir this up a bit, mix it up. Let the onions cook with this is the essential part of Indian cuisine. You've got to start with the masala. There have been several movies because, you know, I think Mississippi Masala, and there was another one because, you know, they use that as a metaphor for, you know, mixing cultures and stuff like that, whatever. But the masala is the mixing of the spices. So you can do it fresh. You could use fresh. I think people even use, you know, fresh turmeric, but I'm going to use powdered. And I've got the turmeric here. I got paprika here. I've got, and I also, just for good measure, I sometimes throw in, even though I don't really need to do this, because I'm doing this thing from scratch, almost. I'm doing my own thing. But, you know, what I sometimes do is, I have these packets. And you get Shan, and you get these other packets of, you know, mixed masalas. So I had a full one here. Which one is this? This is Shan. That's a sabzi. Sabzi means vegetable. So this one is vegetable masala. I don't think there's too much left. I don't really even need this at all. I'm doing this just as a kind of an extra. So whatever, they have turmeric in here. They have various shit in here. So I just put a little of that. It's not really necessary. Or you can put more of this. You can use this and not use these if you want, you know. But I just put everything. I just, you know, so put a bit of this and a bit of that and this. I will put my own turmeric as well. See, they have their spice mix is fairly heavy in turmeric. And the turmeric is what gives it that kind of reddish, yellowish color. So I put about that much turmeric. You don't want to put too much turmeric, you know? And then, now, I don't know if this thing is taping. It keeps stopping because I think I'm running out of space. So I don't know how much more of this I can tape. This is the kheema. So now, the kheema is pretty much cooked. Now what you have to do is, and I've turned this off for now. So what I'm going to do, I really should have prepped it before, but I've been having taping problems, you know, technical difficulties. I don't even know if this is taping or saving or not. It may not be, because I think the previous stuff didn't save, you know. But anyway, what I'm going to do now is, and this is the part where we get the Armageddon, I'm going to cut the chilies, and I'm going to do fresh. So I'm going to do a few of these green ones. These are not all that hot. These are very hot. So I'm going to do a few of these, and a couple of jalapenos, you know. And I'm going to do the gobi. This is so let's do the gobi first, you know. Now, I don't know whether this thing is actually taping or not taping. I have no idea. Maybe I'm just cooking this for myself. So, which is fine, because I need to have dinner anyway, you know. So, I'm going to cut, maybe, I don't need the whole gobi. So I'm going to do about half the gobi, you know, there, you know. I'm going to do about that much of the gobi, you know, the cauliflower, you know. This one was fairly clean, so I don't really have to remove a lot of the black stuff, you know. Hardly any at all, actually, you know. So I'm just gonna, yeah, well, we got a fair amount of kheema there. So I'm gonna do, yeah, about that much. That's quite a bit of, you know, of gobi. So I'm going to wash this, and I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to put it into the kheema, you know. And then I put in the peppers, you know. And then I let it cook, you know. So I'm just washing the gobi over here, you know. And I like big pieces, and I tend to cook quite a bit, so it gets, if you do smaller pieces, it'll tenderize more, it'll get softer, you know. But I like fairly big pieces. I'm not even cutting this is like so fresh that I'm just tearing it apart with my fingers, you know. So I've washed the gobi, you know. If there were any germs in it, it's going to be killed by all the peppers anyway. There's going to be a little pepper in there, but it is thoroughly washed, you know. And then, well, let's wash it some more, you know. You got a pandemic going on, so, you know, you can't wash enough, you know. So, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to throw this up. I almost tripped over a kid. There's a baby underneath my feet, you know. That's my sous chef. For my friend who said, are your kids going to be sous chefs? They're giving moral support and they're trying to trip me up. So, you know, I'm going to put a bit more water in there for this. And then we get to the fun part. I've got a couple of tomatoes here, so I'm going to put them in. But let's let the gobi cook first. If you put, you know, my aunt taught me this a long time ago, was that if you put, you know, tomato in, you know, the acidity keeps the meat from tenderizing. And it doesn't apply as much to vegetables, but it will, the gobi will cook faster if we cook it a little bit before putting in the tomatoes. It's still taping. You know what? The last one said it was taping too, but it didn't tape. So, gonna let that cook a little bit, and let's do the fun part here. So, let me remove some of this, you know, the garbagey stuff. And, you know, let's take, okay, so, one jalapeno, yeah, for sure. Let's take, and this is not for regular people. This is for chili heads. I'm going to do maybe 7. 7's a magic number. It will, you know. Let's do maybe 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And these are very hot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you know, they're not very big. So I might add a bit more later, you know. So and then we'll put a few of these. These are not hot at all. Well, from my standard, other people will probably find them hot. But I'm gonna put like 3 or 4 of these, you know. These are big, so let's do 1, 2, 3. Let's start with 3. And so let's wash our. So these are our peppers, you know. Oops, yes, it is following me. I just hope it's saving, because, you know, that's the problem here, is that I don't think there's space on the in the food, and we'd have to make space or buy space or do something. So the thing with peppers is, if you cut them into smaller pieces, the thing will be hotter. If you leave them whole, it's going to be, yeah, it's going to. At this point, we're way beyond what most people can even smell, let alone eat. So, at this point, it doesn't really matter all that much, you know. At this point, I'm going to put some, I usually do it that way, I put some cut, and I put some uncut, you know. So I put some whole, and I put some cut. So let's, and I'm just going to rinse my my cutting board, because we had all the other stuff on it, you know. It's a quick rinse of it. You know, even my house, I'm just going to shoot this by hand. So there is the kheema gobi with all kinds of peppers, and you got all the stems there. I'm going to put a couple of tomatoes in, you know. So I got one from before, and I bought some small Roma tomatoes today, so I'm going to put those in. I don't know what's happening with the phone. I think some of what I taped before got taped, but it's sideways, and I don't know how to rotate it, you know. So I don't know whether I'm going to be able to post this or not. But I'll see, you know. So my very first attempt at filming cooking, and I'm going to have to do something about the storage on my phone because it keeps running out. I'm going to have to delete a lot of the previous stuff because I got all those podcasts and things that I tape and that I don't erase them. So, and then I'm going to make rice. I was going to make rice on camera because a friend of mine said she has trouble cooking rice, and I was going to do it, but I don't know if we're going to have space for this. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to post any of this or not, you know. So I'm going to stop this for now, put in the tomatoes, and then let the thing simmer for like half an hour while I figure out the phone thing and I make the rice. And then I will take a little bit more footage just by hand when I'm actually cooking. So, sorry, when I'm actually eating. And you'll see whether I actually... I tasted it. It's within my realm of, you know, it's not... it is Armageddon, beyond Armageddon, but it's okay for me. This is sort of my regular level. And the tomato, as I said, will cut it too, you know. So, I may have to add a couple more of the orange, you know, Thai peppers. Okay, talk to you later. Bye for now. I'm going to concentrate on the cooking and the phone stuff and the whatever. I don't know if any of this I can tape or not, or if I can actually post any of this or not. We'll see. And there we have Nutty Professor's Apocalypse, Impossible, Kheema Gobi, Vindaloo. With rice, basmati rice, which I cooked. There's a shortcut to rice too, but I didn't do it today. Don't always eat, you know, probably the first time since my parents left, but I'm using this mikasa. My kids eat on, their bowls are... their bowls are, I've given them a couple of Noritaki bowls, but I eat on Corning every day. But since I'm, you know, I'm posting this, maybe, I don't know if I'm going to be able to post this or not. I don't know how much of this. So we put some rice on there. I'm going to put more rice, you know. And then some gobi, and I'm going to pick out the peppers, you know. I can see, oh, there's orange peppers, and there's orange peppers, and there's jalapenos, and there's green peppers, and there's, you know, I'm going to pick them all out, peppers, and then this is a nice big gobi, you know, and then some kheema, you know. I'm getting a little of the orange. Those, the hottest ones are those Thai orange. You know, so now I'm going to eat with my fingers, which is how you're supposed to eat Indian food. I'm going to eat with my fingers while watching Netflix. That's a part of the cooking thing. I'm not sure what I'm going to watch, but I'm going to watch something. So I don't know what of this I can post. At least it's been practiced. I may post it. It's actually come out quite well, you know. So Nutty Professor's Apocalyptic, you know, Impossible, entirely vegetarian, Kheema Gobi, Vindaloo with, and I put some dahi in lieu of raita. Raita, you'd actually put some onions in it and some tomatoes in it and all of that. I just put dahi straight. I didn't bother. And then I got some char there because, you know, the food probably isn't going to be hot enough on its own, so you got to have some chars. And I think I got a mango pickle and a mixed pickle. And in lieu of papadums, I don't have a gas stove. It's easy to do papadums. If you have a gas stove, you can do it over right on the open flame. But to fry papadums is just too much of a nuisance. So I do the shortcut and I do chips, you know. I think it's the sour cream chips. So I'm going to have my dinner while watching Netflix, and the babies are running around, and then they're going to go into the playpen, and Agiza gets her living room time. So everybody's at supper, and I'm just going to watch some Netflix and see if I can post this. Do some editing. Okay, bye for now. I'm eating. I've just started tasting it, and you eat with the tips of your fingers. It's really not that spicy for me. It's good. It's a regular level. It's my normal, but this is nothing super spicy. Next time I'm aiming for apocalyptic, I'm going to have to put like 15 of those orange ones and more of the green ones and more cayenne. It's not particularly hot for me. I mean, it would probably kill most of my friends, but it's not all that hot for me. So anyway, I'm going to move to the TV and watch some Netflix and eat. So bye for now.